Welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. I'm David Knight. It's Monday, March 16th, 2015. Now, South by Southwest is in full swing here in Austin. Technology is a big part of that, and a big part of the technological sector is artificial intelligence and robotics. We were reminded of that this weekend with the demonstration that was covered by Leanne McAdoo, people saying, "Stop the robots. AI, say goodbye." Exactly the sort of thing that Hugo de Garis was pointing out would happen as people begin to become aware of the negative possible consequences, and there are a lot of those, and a lot of people, not just the people like Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking, but now it's become a mainstream understanding of the problems that AI can present uncontrolled. Now we have a presenter at South by Southwest, a Sirius founder, also now a pharmaceutical tycoon. USA Today points out that the founder of Sirius was speaking at South by Southwest. Rothblatt is the founder of Sirius Radio, now the chief executive of United Therapeutics, a transgender, transhumanist philosopher activist, had this to say about our future. Rothblatt said that we will achieve eternal life through technology, and had this to say about robots. Robots in the future will have constitutional rights. Hey, how about giving some human rights to humans today? Human rights that are recognized as rights in the Constitution. We possess those rights because we were given them by God, because we're humans. I wish we could have that now and not worry about what the robots are going to have. But of course, they mentioned that it's not just this one person speaking up in defense and in praise of robots and denigrating humans. It's also the producers and directors of movies that are showing at South by Southwest. One of those, Ex Machina, the director there, spoke also at South by Southwest and said we shouldn't be afraid of artificial intelligence, basically saying that he wants audiences in his movie to feel connected between Ava and her human friends and creators. He says, "I'm 100% for the robots." Now you know how they're going to spin this, and that's how they use the movies to shift human perception, to shift the public's perception. They're trying to make them more human, more sympathetic than the humans. Very easy to do that, to lay that out as a pattern to push people. We've seen that in Sony's interview, they actually used a silly comedy to try to push for regime change by assassination in North Korea. So, of course, there's a lot behind these different movies that they're putting on. He goes on to say, "I'm very sort of suspicious and worried about people, but I don't feel that way about robots," says the director of Ex Machina. "I think they might be more reasonable than we are. We don't really understand how these things work," he says, "so that's strange, but they seem to know how we work. They can anticipate things about us." Let me explain something to you. The robots don't have some uncanny sixth sense where they can predict things about us. That is simply data mining. And you've got to understand that there are human programmers behind all of this, for good or for ill. We're starting to get caught up into kind of a Wizard of Oz scenario where we look at this illusion, this technological illusion that's been put in front of us, and we forget that there's a man behind that curtain. I've seen it happen earlier in the computer field. 30, 40 years ago, you used to be able to get people to do pretty much anything if you could get the computer to print something out. Now, of course, it may be that you had garbage in, garbage out. Maybe your model was absolute garbage, but if you could get the computer to print this out, if the computer said it, then people would be inclined to believe it. And so, as this director says, he says he doesn't want to perpetuate a doomsday scenario. He doesn't want to perpetuate fears of artificial intelligence or any undue concerns. Instead, he's going to give us a program of his own to model how benign these robots are going to be. But of course, Al Gore was also speaking, and Al Gore has got computer models, just like the people who are pushing global warming. And we shouldn't question the scientists in their white lab coats or the giant mainstream computers, right? We should just do what they say and not question it. And if we do, Al Gore said, we need to be punished because we're deniers. Notice how he uses religious terminology. EcoWatch points out that the former vice president focused on the need to, quote, punish climate change deniers, saying that politicians should pay a price for rejecting, quote, accepted science. He said, we need to put a price on carbon to accelerate these market trends. What he's trying to accelerate is the time frame in which he's going to become the world's first carbon billionaire by selling these indulgences. And to underscore the religious nature of the way he's selling this, he talks about the Pope. He says, how about this Pope? Talking about the coming encyclical on the environment, he says, I'm not a Catholic, but I could be persuaded to become one. We should remember that it was just last week that the outgoing chief, the UN chief of the IPCC, the group that has been pushing the idea of man-made global warming, said that global warming was his religion. That's why they talk about it as being deniers. We should always understand that science is never settled. And the people who push back the hardest against the skeptics are the ones who are the most insecure about their model. But of course, Al Gore is going to punish deniers, and Google is going to punish us by taking us off of the search lists. That's what we've been talking about, their move to do that for a couple of weeks now. And as New American pointed out, they have already done this when it comes to vaccinations. They say, of course, that their knowledge vault is, quote, the largest store of knowledge in human history, and it promises to let Google answer questions like an oracle rather than a search engine, even turn a new lens on human history. There you go. They're going to rewrite everything, and they're already delisting sites that talk about the risks of vaccines, saying that's not proven. That's not a consensus amongst science. As the New American points out, the facts in the much vaunted knowledge vault of Google are simply truth based on consensus. And we need to understand that that consensus throughout history has usually been wrong. Now, as New American points out, truth according to Google means that anti-vaccination websites no longer make the cut, despite the fact that recently released federal statistics reveal the risk to children's health posed by vaccines is overwhelmingly greater than that posed by the disease these medications are formulated to combat. And of course, they point out that Google's approach with their knowledge vault is merely truth on consensus. That has never been correct. Even if we go back to vaccines, we understand that Louis Pasteur had to fight the scientific consensus to get that established, to get the science of what he was doing established. People don't want to change. And you never establish facts just by having a vote on it or a consensus on it. But they will always push back and try to censor it, as our reporters found out today in another area of South by Southwest, at McDonald's. Joining us now are Rob Dew and Anthony Gucciardi. Okay, so McDonald's sales are tanking globally. So they go on a charm offensive at South by Southwest, and you guys decide you go visit them. What happened?
Well, ultimately, yes, they are losing money over and over again. They're underperforming the market, and last month, in February, they lost another massive amount of cash. They're going down, and they're trying to be trendy now and have a South by Southwest tent. So it's a fully functioning McDonald's downtown, because they don't actually have one, because no one downtown wants one. So they had a big tent, a big white tent, fully staffed. They had a pretty big band playing there, and it was full service. So we were going in there, we were saying, hey, we're going to take some shots of this. We're going to expose how they're trying to get new demographics. Admittedly, they're trying to pretend now that they're natural. We're removing some antibiotics in their chicken, which was basically a farce, but we're forcing them to do all these things. But we couldn't even get the food. Before we even were able to buy the food, they had the security officer push me, assault me out the door, and they called the cops over and over and over again. The cops telling them that they can't do anything until 7 cops came total. And they escorted me and they said, get off the property. You're allowed to stand on the public sidewalk, but you are not allowed to go into McDonald's.
Well, you guys
all
are
because
dangerous.
I asked about what was in the food.
Yeah, he asked the lady behind the counter, what's in the McNuggets?
What's in the McNuggets?
And she goes, food?
Yeah, food? And then they all huddled
That's what
around.
I'm serving. I'm serving.
And they started
food.
freaking out because they told us we could film. They knew we were filming. Other people were filming. It's not a big deal. It was when I said, what's in the chicken McNuggets? Do you know what's in them? That they all freaked out. They were like, PR nightmare, PR nightmare. Well, the real PR nightmare is assaulting someone who's literally trying to buy McNuggets and saying, hey, what are in these McNuggets? I didn't even tell her what's in them. And then we interviewed employees who admit they don't even eat there very often. And we all know why. And in the video that's coming out on YouTube on the Alex Jones channel, you can find it when at the time this comes out, most likely.
You'll be able to see it.
We actually had one of the employees come out with some food, and I said, do you eat this all the time? She goes, no. And I said, well, why not? And that's when the PR woman from McDonald's, who was working at South by,
swoops back in and
grabs her by the arm and says, get over here. And he says, go away. You
can't talk to these
And she calls the cops again, and the cops came. The cops were very nice, by the way. They knew it was a total farce. It was the security people from McDonald's who were totally insane, pushing me, assaulting me out the door, literally. I said, hey, I'm going to go. And they said, out, get out.
I think there's a total 8 cops plus the security, the big security guy. That kind of reminded me of the guy from Dallas, the short, big guy. Like it was that same mentality, like
the JFK rally guy that was pushing.
Leave now, leave out. No, he says leave out, leave out, leave out. It's like what language is that?
Yeah, I mean, here
what language are we speaking? Leave out.
We weren't even. We were buying food, and then we were looking at this weird Ronald McDonald selfie. Statue. This take a selfie with Ronald McDonald. And we were taking that on film, and this guy just starts pushing me and grabbing me by the arm and like wrapping his arm around me like he wanted to dance with me and just shoving me out the door.
So I had this image, you guys said you got thrown out of McDonald's. I thought maybe they'd send over Ronald McDonald. He'd squirt you with his lapel flower or something like that. But it sounds like kind of like an Idiocracy scene where it's like, what's in it? Food. Food. Leave out. Leave out.
Hit the number. What you want?
No. What's in it? Food? I don't know.
Well, you got a little bit of a preview clip.
Yeah, we got a preview clip showing just the outside of it, what it looks like, and then Anthony going in, even asking them. She asked, are you going to film? And he goes, we might. Is that okay? And she says, sure. We go in, and we're going in from really bright to really dark, so I'm adjusting the camera and stuff. And then as we go to this one area where they're giving out free French fries, Anthony asked the lady, do you know what's in the McNuggets? And that's when that happens, and it's literally asked her 3 questions, and we walk away. We're waiting in the other line to actually get food. We're going to get some and then kind of make a little, a bit of a protest about the McDonald's food, which we never even got that far because then the PR person comes back over. She doesn't want to really engage Anthony. She's just like, leave. And he's like, what's the big deal? And then the security guard comes over. And then it escalates from there. About 8 cops by the end are in and around that area trying to look all nonchalant, but just waiting for some sort of incident to break out because I guess they're on the defensive, working for McDonald's, essentially.
And to be clear, 8 cops for asking what's in the chicken McNuggets.
3 questions.
Yeah.
We're at INFOWARS. We're just gonna get some food.
Oh, okay. You're not filming?
Hi, is
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you guys eat McDonald's food?
Yeah.
Do you know what's in it?
Fruit.
How many chemicals are in the McNuggets? Do you know?
No. I do.
Okay. Wait, what? Come here. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. We're now not allowed to film. About to be removed by security. How's it going? What's up, brother?
Leave out. You gotta leave out.
Why? I was told we could film. I'm about to buy some.
You gotta leave out now.
I'm about
to call the law. I'm about to call the law.
I was told we could film in here.
But the lady just told me that you gotta leave.
Why do I have to leave?
I don't know. You gotta ask her.
I like McDonald's. I'm a fan. I want to buy a McRib. Excuse me, can you stop pushing me?
All right, well, you need to leave.
I'll walk out.
Well,
Stop pushing me.
All right, then walk out. The lady asked me to ask you to leave. You're not moving.
That's very nice of you. I'm not allowed to purchase McDonald's food anymore. I was told we could film, but I asked about the McNuggets, and now I'm being kicked out. So I was told I'd be arrested if I didn't leave. Can I speak to the woman as to why I'm not allowed to be in here?
She can meet you out here. Just go outside.
She'll come out and talk to me?
No.
You just said she'd speak to me.
I'm not going to speak nothing. No comments.
I'm a loyal McDonald's fan. I just want a McRib. Can I get one of those? Could you bring me one out? Do you eat McDonald's food? Why can't I go inside? Is everything okay?
Don't block the entrance.
Well, I appreciate you being nice about it. The other guy just kind of picked me up and pushed me out.
Oh, I understand.
Probably highly illegal, but anyway, could you just tell me why we're not allowed to film in there? Because she told me we were.
I don't have a clue.
Okay, so it's just their decision then?
Yes.
Okay, I understand that.
I don't.
Well, I appreciate you being nice about it.
No problem.
All right, we'll go ahead.
You're on the public. You're on
All right, we are. So